Hello, 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 hello. All right. This is G. This is your week of February 16th and the following 7 days. This is the eclipse week video. Pisces season begins. We have the Saturn Neptune conjunction at the exact, by the minutes, all happening this week. So let's pull the chart up. Let's see what we can see. If you haven't seen it, there is a video already up for February 17th. That is the eclipse, February 17th. There's a video specifically made just for that event. And we will touch on it here. And that's actually probably where we're going to start off. Okay. So I want you to pay attention to where you see the sun at 28 degrees, because that's where the eclipse is. The eclipse means the sun and the moon are conjunct here, which talks about a new beginning. That's what happens when you have the sun and the moon together. And yes, it's at 28 degrees Aquarius energy. Aquarius is group energy. This is science. This is the future, your future, our future. This is social systems. Okay. And we think about supply chains, we think about global systems, global structures with Aquarius energy. We think space, we think, the final frontier out there. And we think of how it's very it's to go where no man has gone before type of stuff. It's beyond different. It's beyond new. It's almost the unthinkable in a way. So usually Aquarius energy is associated with the awakener, shock, surprise, disruptions. Example, technology for sure with Aquarius energy. And there's just a lot of energy sitting here still in Aquarius. This object right here talks about the future as well. This is what we're striving for, what we're moving forward with. Okay. It's in institutional energy. So we think government. Okay. It's also the rich, the famous, the powerful. It's behind closed doors, backroom deals. It's, stuff that we little people don't really get to be privy to. Like we're not in those conversations. This is public figures, politicians, performances, performers, Hollywood. We're talking, yeah. Pisces is interesting in that it can be the clergy, it can be the people of the cloth, it can be about spirituality and meditation and unity. But on the flip side of it, when you think of, people who get paid performances, whether they be actors and musicians, influencers, like this is all Pisces stuff. And so it can be very extreme. With Pisces energy, it can be somebody who even is a person who's homeless, right? Someone who is kind of a wanderer, is kind of like the fish in the ocean and just goes whichever way the tides flow. Like that's Pisces energy. It's usually about surrender and acceptance and understanding. But the extreme, the opposite end of that polar energy can be very different. It can be, we associate criminal activity with Pisces energy. Prison, like when you look at the ancient astrology, prison, and even death, and underhanded dealings, and purposeful manipulation, and uh, coercion, and just trying to manipulate you to, and impress upon you to do and to believe something that's not true. So like illusions and delusions. Remember Pisces energy? Its goal is to perfect our vision, because typically wherever Pisces is, it's a little confusing. It's like a shapeshifter. It changes form, it changes appearance, it changes the way it shows up, it changes the way it sounds. So this is why we think of those public figures and those influencers and how they're like larger than life, and just, whatever, like this very over the top, dramatic kind of energy, Pisces energy. So, with all that said, the North Node, taking a look at how are we moving forward with all of this, and it's at the 8th degree. Now, I talk about this in the eclipse video, so I'm not going to talk about that here. What I am going to talk about is the conjunction between Venus and the North Node, because they are still conjunct on the day of the eclipse on the 17th. A new beginning, and it can be a positive new feature in your life. It can be your dreams about the future. This is very idealistic energy. It can be about nature, but unity, understanding, and oneness even. Remember, prayer, meditation, surrender energy is all Pisces. Perhaps you have a new chapter in your life that is beginning. Maybe money, because of Venus, and relationships are highlighted here. This week, there may be a change where we are destined, or that you are destined to move forward in a more positive direction when it comes to love and finances. Feminine energy may be prominent, and there may be some positive outcomes. So that's one of the ways we can look at the Venus conjunct the North Node. Just keep in mind the 8 degrees, shared values, death, taxes, money. This energy is a combination of the past. It's a combination of change and release. People in Congress, for sure. And so, yeah, just keep all that in mind. Keep things in perspective because shit's so insane from one minute to the next. Mercury, that I've got this arrow pointing at, she's at 15 degrees to start off this week, which means she's got a nice, strong trine to Jupiter. Judges, judgments, rulings. Ooh, I got a lot of things going through my brain that I'm hoping, wishing, and praying for. May we take the corrupt and the abusers, be held accountable, and find some time in prison. Let it happen. Obviously, nothing happens on this day, but may this be the beginning of this process. Please, possibly, because Jupiter can be foreigners, foreign lands, foreign language, and the whole immigration nightmare that we have with the murders, the outright, murders in the United States. So I'm hoping and praying we get some good news. We're going to have the sun moving out of Aquarius energy. So before we get there, we got to understand something about this week. Monday, Tuesday, pretty strong days, right? The eclipse energy is strong. It also is the sun being at a critical degree. 29 next day is a critical degree. Okay. So with that energy of the critical degree, can I speak? We should expect news and information, authorities, authority figures, unions, people who might have abused their power, but definitely authoritarians because we got Mars still working its craziness with Aquarius, which is usually energy where we always got to be cautious anytime Mars is in Aquarius energy, because the impulsive, passionate Mars energy with this electric air added to it, it goes off the handle really quickly. Definitely doesn't think, it's like a rocket. So with that said, you can see that sun has a big air trine in this chart while it's at the 28 and 29 degrees of Aquarius. It's receiving a trine from Pandora's box, which is a can of worms. Feminine energy is at the public degree, opening up a can of worms in relationships. Oh, I wonder what that could be. This can be personal, this can be business. Or in the case of people who are the rich and the powerful globally, it's the mixture of both, women for sale, that kind of thing, and people who actually aren't women but children. We have Isis, 27 degrees. Isis is here, and she is definitely all about trauma and tragedies because, believe it or not, folks, this is Isis giving us the news. Isis is the wife of Pluto. Pluto is about change. Isis is about bringing somebody back to life, right? So this is a strong energy of news and information that's deep, that's powerful, that's about the past, but making a change. jumped ahead, but on the 18th and 19th, for all you who have that strong Pisces energy in your chart, this is where the sun goes into Pisces. And I want you to focus on this, even if you aren't a Pisces person, because wherever the sun is up in the sky, the sun is your battery, your energy, literally. You know, your phone's battery gets low, gets dead, right? And then you got to recharge it. With the sun in Pisces, the way your sun is going to feel powered up and rejuvenated is literally to sleep. It is literally to escape. It literally says, I need a break. I need some respite. I need to relax. How the hell do I revitalize, rejuvenate, restore myself? That's the sun in Pisces energy. So I might need to read some movies. I might need to read some movie, read a book, watch a movie, music, listen to some music, making sure that we're chiseling out solo time for self, because yeah, many times we can feel this as, I just need more sleep. And you will, because Kelgon take me away. We have Venus and Mercury in Pisces. Let's get to the 21st of the month. The 21st of the month, what is that? Friday, Saturday? These two, just so you guys know, these two are already conjunct. They've been conjunct this whole week by the minutes. I'm sorry, by the degrees. But when we get to the 21st, they're exact by the minutes even. I believe that these two are very strong already this week for sure, because it's the eclipse energy and stuff's happening. Neptune, again, is more institutional energy, more government energy, more people um, who have power in some kind of way, because they are leaving impressions upon us. So whether they are public figures and influencers or manipulators, however you want to look at that kind of Neptune energy at 0 degrees in Aries, this, again, I've talked about it in the past. Aries is Mars energy, war energy, fighting energy in the Navy, right? Because you're mixing Neptune and Aries together. And then you've got Saturn, who's all about rules and structure. But because Saturn just got here, we have probably been witnessing a restructuring of military globally, because this is a world access point, a world initiation point, even we're calling it, because it's a new beginning where this is not a fake new beginning. We kind of had this a year ago, and I know this might sound redundant because I kind of mentioned this already, but we should look forward to seeing a new rules, new regulations, but they aren't necessarily going to begin on this day, okay? Because when Neptune touches Saturn energy, Neptune says, I'm going to change your rules, because at first they're going to look like there aren't any rules. Neptune comes into contact with goals, with long-term structures, material, tangible things, and it can dissolve it. It can make it disappear. It can make it look fuzzy and blurry. And it's like, well, what just happened with that? Where did that go? Who works there? Who runs that? Right. So it can make it look a little wonky at first. And so I am praying, because this military stuff is so prominent. I hope that the continued protests around the world against ICE, especially ICE showing up for some, what, FIFA and Olympic Games or some crap like that. Yes, and let's get rid of, abolish ICE here as well. And especially at this degree, this is the leader, the head of some sort of a military organization. And so out with the old, in with the new.